Welcome in, everyone, to a late night edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Rich, Thrift, and we have an absolute jammed-packed show that we're going to be getting into. We have a state champion, back-to-back volleyball champion we're going to be getting into. Richard Holter was able to make the call for GIAA.TV this past Saturday. We got a region champ that was crowned in America, so I was able to be there on Friday night. We'll get into that, plus 5 other games. We did 6 football broadcasts on this platform last Friday night. Unbelievable, Rich. 7 games in 2 days. We'll recap all of that. We have dropped the new Georgia Alabama Sports Live Power Rankings. We got the Hoolahans, highlight of the week nominees, and where we're going to be this week. Richard, can't wait to get into it, man.
Thrift, thank goodness for hot tea. I woke up this morning and I did not have a voice. And so I drank some tea. It's slowly getting back to form. And I'm ready to talk sports. What an incredible weekend. I'm so glad that we're able to talk about all of it. And I'll tell you, it's just incredible what we were able to do. And as you can see, we're ready to talk some sports.
Yes, we are, man. And I cannot wait to get into everything that we're going to be doing here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live today. Rich, let's talk about it. You were there live from Rome, Georgia at Shorter University. Brookstone Pacelli played on Friday afternoon. Pacelli was able to win that 3-1. Talk about that performance by Pacelli, and then going down 1-0 to Tallulah Falls and winning 3 straight to go back-to-back. Kirsten Trotter in year 1 taking back over this program, wins another championship. Shannon Menifee and Ado go down as legends. What a performance. Talk about the weekend.
Yeah, think about it. Another back-to-back championship for a Pacelli sports team. We've seen it in basketball. We've seen it in flag football. We've seen it in soccer. And now we see it in volleyball. And it was just an incredible weekend up at Shorter University. Had a very early start on Friday, called 4 semifinal games, including the 2A classification. And then we had the 3A classification on Friday. Tallulah Falls was the 4 seed. They knocked off the number 1 overall seed, the Keens Academy. And then Pacelli ended up beating Brookstone in 4 sets. And I actually thought this match was going to go 5 sets. But Pacelli just came out and they just imposed their will in that first set. And Brookstone was able to get one of the sets. But you talk about that front line of Shannon Menifee and Mayla Resnick. Anna Doe is one of the best setters that you'll ever see in the volleyball level. And they have a rising star, a freshman by the name of Samantha Sinabola. You're going to hear this name for the next 3 years. This is a rising star in volleyball. They have depth with Natalie Pilar, Ellie Jane Hogg, and I was just so impressed with them, beating Brookstone and then going into that championship game with their backs against the wall.
Wow.
Tallulah Falls takes that first set. There's a lot of pressure on Pacelli to win out, because if Tallulah Falls took one of those sets and it goes to a 5th set, anything is possible in a 5th set because it only goes to 15. So you could get on a run and you could end up winning. But because Pacelli was relentless, they were also resilient, and they made Tallulah Falls make the big mistake. Tallulah Falls is a great team. I saw them on Friday knock out the number 1 seed, the Keens Academy. But overall, great week. I mean, it not related to Columbus schools, but I witnessed an 0-2 deficit in volleyball, a championship between Heritage and Grace Christian. Heritage came back from an 0-2 deficit, and I quoted Rudy T because they are the defending champions, 2A, and that's why you never underestimate the heart of a champion. I think that Pacelli kind of took that blueprint from that first match and knew that they're the defending champs, and they know how to win when the pressure's on the line.
No doubt about it, man. So congratulations to the Pacelli Vikings. They are your back-to-back GIAA state champions, 33-9 on the season. What an incredible feat for them. What a dominant program. They've been the best program the last couple of years. And congratulations to Kirsten Trotter and the Pacelli Lady Vikings on becoming state champions. Richard, great job on the call. I commend you, Chris, Tony, everyone that was involved. That we broadcasted a part of GIAA.TV. We broadcasted the semifinals, 4 of them on Friday. You called all 4. Then 2 more championships on Saturday. Great job by you, Richard. Very proud of how you represented the GIAA and Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And again, we are very I'm excited about the fact that Pacelli is your state champions. All right, Rich, let's continue on here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. But first, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to recap everything that went down this Friday night, including a region championship that was on the line. We have a winner, and that team that's on the hill still looking to keep the crown on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Glenn Smith Truck Month is here. Get massive savings on GMC Sierras and Canyons. Check them out. Full-size GMC Sierras up to $14,500 off. GMC Canyons up to $5,000 off. Or take advantage of 0% financing, plus no payments until next year. At Glenn Smith GMC Opelika. Now in our 33rd year. Get ready to smile.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to Zaxby's for their continued partnership with us for over the last couple of years since we started this. Your partnership has meant the world for us to give you premier coverage for all the local sporting events around the Chattahoochee Valley area. And specifically, I want to thank Judson Humphreys, my good friend, and the Phoenix City location, being with us from the very beginning, man.
Absolutely. Well, we just appreciate what y'all do in the community for these student athletes, and we just want to be a part of it.
Whether it's tailgating, parties, or you just want a quick bite to eat, come to the Phoenix City Zaxby's location and tell them Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Thrift sent you. Thank you again to Judson Humphreys and Zaxby's for our continued partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
I'm always...
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. And, man, what a weekend we had on Friday night. Let's throw up the scores real quick, Chris. But first things first, before we do that, I want to say this. I was so proud of the guys at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. 6 football games we were able to have. We had close to, at one time, over 5,000 people watching from on all our platforms. It was an incredible night, what we were able to accomplish. And so proud of everybody that made this. We were spread thin, but we made it work, and we got guys that really believe in what we are trying to grow here for sure, man. Let's first start with Thursday. You were on the call for the Midtown Showdown. How about the Blue Devils? 6-1 on the season. They started off with Andrew Smith taking it to the house, and that was it. 38-7 was the final score in that one, Richard. An absolute dominant performance for Columbus High, and they look every bit the team that could maybe even win 9 games. I'm not saying they're going to beat Sumter. Sumter's really good. I saw them on Friday night. Yeah. But I'm telling you, Columbus has them at home. They're going to give them a run for their money. And I don't see any team beating them the rest of the way except for Sumter, which would mean Columbus could potentially win 8 games this year, Rich.
Yeah.
Wow.
They play Kendrick this Friday at Otis Spencer Stadium, and then they'll play Spencer the following week. I could see this Columbus team go to 8-1, 6-1 right now. They have not made the playoffs since 2018, and this Columbus Blue Devils team is the real deal. And it starts with their quarterback Andrew Smith, who is just electric in the backfield. He can throw, he can run. He's just a playmaker. and that's a great weapon to have. And they end up winning that trophy for the second time in the Midtown Showdown, and it comes back to Columbus. And what a great win for Hardaway. They go to 0-7. I was very impressed with Jacoby Henry. I think that they do have a weapon, but they lost a lot of seniors from last year's team, and it's tough. First-year coach Will Weldon. They could ride the ship, and they have an opportunity to get their first win of the regular season this upcoming Thursday against Jordan, a big rival of Hardaway's as well.
Yeah, so congratulations on the Columbus Blue Devils for getting that big win. Then on Friday night, let's start with the games that we did. We traveled to Stars Mill, Harris County, missing the field goal at the end of the game. They had a chance to take the lead, and it's going to be tough, man. They got Central Carroll and Mundy's Mill their last two games. They probably going to need to win both to make the playoffs, and Central Carroll is undefeated. Right now, it looks like it's Stars Mill. If they get Stars Mill, maybe gets upset by Northside, Harris County can maybe get in. But if Stars Mill beats Northside, Mundy's Mill, and Harris County, they're going to get in with 3 wins in the region, and Harris County would only have 2. Northside would only have 1, and Stars Mill would be that number 4 seed. So tough loss for Harris County, a young team that I'm telling you in the next couple of years will be a team that I think could win a championship for sure. And I'm telling you, Tommy Watts built something special. But this year, got to go through the growing pains, losing 14-12. Tough one at Stars Mill.
Yeah, and then you have Griffin on Thursday night ended up shellacking Northside 60-14, and Griffin is now that playoff team that in the beginning of the season we thought that Griffin was going to be down there with Mundy's Mill. We was looking at the schedule. Griffin is much improved. They're now 6-2. So the playoff teams are Central Carrollton because they are top ranked in the state, Griffin, and then you also have Jonesboro, and then Stars Mill's at 2-2 now. So Stars Mill would make the playoffs. That game against Northside on Thursday is for the right to go to the playoffs. If Northside does beat Stars Mill, remember, Harris County has the tiebreaker. So Harris County has to upset Central Carrollton, and then, of course, they play Mundy's Mill at the end of the season. So Harris County is definitely not out of it, but they really needed that win over Stars Mill.
Yeah, and they're going to have a tough one against Central Carroll coming up. Another game that we did, Westfield School comes in ranked top 3 in the state in 3A. They were losing because Calvary was playing their best game, I think, all season long. They were up 16-7. They were then up 23-14, coming up just short. They ended up losing 24-23. Westfield hit the game-winning kick with 9 seconds left. Tough defeat for Calvary, but, man, how did they come out improved. After the previous 2 weeks, struggling offensively against Brookstone and Pacelli, to come back this week, move the football against a really good Westfield team. I'm telling you, it's very well coached. I give Coach Brunson and his team credit. Tried to bounce back with getting what would have been a huge win. Now they're on the road at Strong Rock, and they're at Stratford. I feel like they probably need to win one of those 2 games to really feel good about themselves in the playoffs. They potentially could still make it, even if they lose both of those and finish 5-5. But I feel like Calvary needs to get one of those 2. Tough defeat against Westfield.
Yeah, it really was a tough defeat. 3 losses in a row for a team that started 5-0. And because of their strength of schedule, the GIAA is not really doing them any favors. They're on the outskirts, and they really need some help if they want to make the playoffs. They're currently ranked 9th. Loganville Christian is right behind them at 10th. And if they don't get wins over Strong Rock and Stratford, there's a chance that teams like Athens Christian, who's ranked number 11th, could leapfrog Calvary, and they might miss the playoffs altogether. So I think that's very important that they get a good showing up in Locust Grove and to take on a Strong Rock team that is much improved. But I was impressed with Calvary going toe-to-toe with Westfield School, and their offense just continue to improve, and this is really what we like to see in a Coach Brunson coach team.
Great job again by Calvary Knights coming out and battling Pacelli and Brookstone. Need I say more?
It's an all-timer.
Pacelli and Brookstone, and, man, did it live up to the hype.
Oh, it did.
Pacelli was actually leading 7-0. It was 7-7, then 14-7, then it went 14-14. Then Brookstone ended up taking the lead and going up 19-14. They hold on. Pacelli driving at the end of the game in deep in Brookstone territory, comes up short on 4th down, and Brookstone holds off a very resilient Pacelli bunch. The Cougars now go to 7-1 on the season in Ian Headley's first season, and they're going to move to number 2 in the GIAA, maybe even number 1. They've had an incredible year and a great game by both teams. Pacelli, man, I've been really impressed. They've had things not go their way this year, but every single night they're battling, and they get their next 2 games at home. Turner County, not a GIAA school, and then Westfield. If they're able to win both those, finish 500, Pacelli could potentially still host a first-round playoff match, and I'm telling you, they're sneaky good. They could get a good matchup and watch them maybe make a deep run in that GIAA playoffs. But the Cougars come up big. Great game by Broughton Branch. Mitchum Kelly had an interception and played great on both sides of the ball. The Cougars go to 7-1, Rich.
Yeah, this was an all-timer, and these two rivals, this is the most heated, most passionate rivalry that we have in this city of Columbus. And the Brucelli Jug, what they were playing for, is going to stay on the campus of Brookstone. I was very impressed how hard Pacelli was playing. They wanted this game bad, and they had an opportunity to take the lead. They had the ball last, but there was a turnover, and Brookstone survives. And that is something that you really got to tip your cap to both first-year coaches with Ian Headley and Smitty Griner. And but it wasn't enough for Brookstone to jump Stratford Academy in the latest rankings, because the new rankings just came out. Brookstone is going to host multiple playoff games. They do have a tough matchup in Perry this week against Westfield School. They still got to play Strong Rock. But Brookstone's looking in pretty good shape. And as far as Pacelli, they'd be in the playoffs right now. And they have 2 winnable games at home. They always play well at home. And Pacelli is going to make the playoffs. Now, whether or not they actually host a playoff game, I mean, that's really up to how the rankings fall out, especially toward the end of the season.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Other games that happened in Alabama, Smith Station, just a bad matchup, man. Auburn throws the ball over the field. At Smith Station's one thing they don't do great defensively is stop the pass, and it was all Auburn 38-0 in that game. Smith Station still has a winnable one coming up in a few weeks against Enterprise, so don't sleep on Panthers. They may still get that 3rd win for Coach Blair Harrison. And then Glenwood, the Gators, 6-2, and they have clinched a home field playoff game. They're going to at least be a number 1 or number 2 seed, so at least get one home playoff game they're going to be hosting. How about the Gators? Remember everybody saying Glenwood can't win. They only can play in the private school league, the AISA. They can't compete in the GHSA. Well, in 2 years, Richard, in the regular season, the Gators, can you believe this, 16-2 and undefeated in region play. So anyone that second guess Ryan Nelson and his program can go kick rocks. They didn't know what they were talking about. Gators are 1 win away from going back-to-back region champs. They play for that championship next week against rival Lee Scott. How about the Gators? A huge win over Dadeville, 50-22. Remember, this Dadeville team lost to Lee Scott in overtime the week before.
Yeah.
Glenwood handles him thoroughly by 28. Gators playing really good and have a region championship against undefeated Lee Scott on Thursday. I think that's undefeated on Friday.
Yeah. Lee Scott lost to Wadley.
Yeah. Okay. I know. I was going to hope you were going to correct me because I knew they played Wadley on Friday, but one loss Lee Scott.
First of all, I'm very impressed with Smith Station's defense to hold Auburn to only 38 points. Auburn was a desperate team. They lost to Central 36-0 the week before. They were coming in on a mission, and you look at this Auburn team led by Coach Etheridge. This is always one of the top teams in 7A. They went to the championship in 2023 and in 2020, and they are one of those teams that it was just a bad matchup for Smith Station because Auburn's defense was just relentless. But Smith Station's defense only held them to 38 points. So I thought that was a moral victory if you believe in those. But that was just a bad matchup. Now, as far as Glenwood, they got the showdown with Lee Scott Academy. Now, they have common opponents. They both lost to Wadley. I mean, everybody's losing to Wadley nowadays. These two teams are evenly matched, but it's up at Judd Davis Field. We know how good Lee Scott Academy is. Buster Daniel is just an incredible coach, along with Coach Ryan Nelson. We've seen these two teams battle. You remember we were live streaming Lee Scott Glenwood, and they had a wide receiver by the name of of Jake Scott, who he kind of reminded me of Cooper Kupp. He had like 20 receptions.
No doubt.
They like to throw the ball, and that Lee Scott Academy is going to spread you out. And Glenwood may have to outduel him. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. And we could get it into the 40s and 50s by both teams. And, of course, it's for a region championship.
All right, and then finally, it was the game, and it lived up to it. I decided last week we were going to be thin and we weren't going to have enough people. Can we make the drive to Americus? And then I was like, we got to. It's for region championship. I think it's the game of the week in the entire state. It's 2 top 5 teams, undefeated Sumter County, undefeated Carver, both trash-talking each other leading up to it, and I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
Richard, that game alone got over 100,000 views.
Wow.
In the moment, we had over about 3,000 people watching at one time on both platforms, which is the most ever we've had watching at one time. The entire state eyes were on it. It has gone viral. The game was sensational. Not your typical high-flying. We thought both these teams had averaged 40 points a game. It was going to be a big, high-scoring affair, but then the rain came down, and it rained all day. I want to say shout-out to Ricky Rogers and Mike Frost. Big team players on this Georgia Alabama Sports Live team. New additions that I am so grateful for. They made sure we had a tent. Ricky did an amazing job on the camera. Mike Frost ran the clock and did color. I produced it. We did it together, and we brought you that Carver Tigers win 8-7. It was not ideal. Not ideal situations with the field. It was terrible. They couldn't really get the ball moving. They were up 2-0 for most of that first half. They really never got anything offensively close in the second half to score a touchdown. Hurd had 2 interceptions that just kind of mistimed his throw and then off the mark, and then was off. He was not on the same page with the receivers, Richard. But in that second half, I saw a guy and a freshman that didn't let a game that it was hostile. It was wet, was not ideal. That Sumter County defense is ferocious, and he stayed in there, knowing the interceptions he's thrown, knowing that the pressure's on him as a freshman to deliver, and he came up with the game-winning touchdown to Marte Sears. I was blown away by his composure. Jarvis Jones talked about it after the game. The dark side defense, lights out, stunned Sumter County, only gave up 1 touchdown. They were incredible. But I got to give credit to that freshman quarterback, man. And that atmosphere to play not great. You had a couple times you fell down because the field was not great. You had interceptions, and to still stay in there, keep your confidence, your head above your shoulder, your head up, not letting anything take you out of the game, which is hard to do for grown men, let alone a 14-year-old, and he throws the dime to win it with 4:33 remaining.
Thrift, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think these two teams might face each other in the playoffs. We could possibly see a semifinal match. And plus, with the power rankings, Sumter County could end up being on Carver's side of the bracket. These two teams were outstanding. When nothing was going right for Carver, the defense helped them stay in that game. And that throw by Sebastian Hurd to Marte Sears, I mean, that was a big boy throw. That's a throw that a senior quarterback that knows the system, that times it perfectly. And so to have a freshman do that, I know that was a big moment for Sebastian Hurd. What a great moment for Carver, the city of Columbus. And this was a game that was talked about throughout the state. I saw that the news anchor, the sports anchor from WLAB down in Albany, because they do cover Sumter County, was watching the game and talking about the game on the Albany broadcast. So a big win. It was really a true road test for Carver, because I don't count week 1 when they went up to Fayetteville and beat Whitewater. I think that this was the true road test. And now I think that if these two teams meet again, who knows? The outcome could be different. But wouldn't that be fun if these two teams met in the playoffs?
Unbelievable, man. I was impressed by the Carver attendance and people were there in the rain. It was senior night, and Carver came up with a big-time win, and they are back-to-back region champs. How about Jarvis Jones in his first year, 8-0, back-to-back region champs, and still trying to achieve that goal. A couple other scores before we take a break, Richard, that happened around the area includes The only game that we didn't do
was Northside Griffin.
And Griffin absolutely took
Thrift
Northside. That was your
Bloodbath McGrath.
Bloodbath McGrath, indeed, was Griffin over Northside. Man, not a great performance for the Patriots, but, man, what a night for us. What a time. And we got a few more weeks. Can you believe that, Richard?
I cannot believe
it.
3
more weeks. 2 more in GIAA. 2 more weeks in the GIAA. 3 more in the GHSA in Alabama. And we're going to have playoffs here. We got – I can't believe it. The regular season's almost done.
Wow.
And high school football playoffs are about to start. We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to drop those power rankings, and then we're going to do the Hula Hands Highlight of the Week nominees. It's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Don't go anywhere.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
For work or play, it's Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Silverado and Colorado's ready to roll for Chevy Truck Month. Get going in a powerful new full-size Chevrolet Silverado with discounts up to $13,500 off. Test drive the mid-size Chevy Colorados. Big performance and big discounts up to $5,000 off. People from all over the USA are coming to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's ruffle some feathers. Let's make some people upset and pissed off. We got rankings, man. And listen, there's no correct way. The bottom 5, I mean, we got teams that lost. Every one of them lost or didn't play.
Yeah.
Spencer was off. But not, I mean, you pick and choose. Flip a coin. You tell me where you want to rank them. I wouldn't tell you I would have a problem with it. Kendrick, 4 and 3. They come in at number 10. Harris County, tough loss. They 3 and 5. They come in at number 9. Number 8, Calvary came just close to getting that big win over Westfield. They would be up higher at 5 and 3.
Yeah.
Pacelli, just close of upsetting Brookstone. They be higher at 3 and 5. And then Spencer, who had a bye, they come in at 3 and 4. I still think Spencer will make the playoffs this year. Top 6, Spencer. 6 through 10. Spencer 6, Pacelli 7, Calvary 8, Harris County 9, Kendrick 10.
Well, Spencer was the only team down at the bottom of our rankings that jumped because they didn't play. Everybody in the bottom of the rankings lost. And so we had a decision to make what to do with Kendrick, who's got a 4 and 3 record. They were having a bye too. They were 10th last week. And I suggested that we put Kendrick above Harris County. And the only reason why is because I think Kendrick, even though if Harris County and Kendrick played, Harris County obviously would win. They have their 4A school. They've got more depth and they got more talented players. But Kendrick has a chance to make the playoffs a little bit better than Harris County. But I understand why you wanted to keep Kendrick at 10. They've got a chance to prove themselves against Columbus this Friday at Otis Spencer Stadium. Harris County, well, they've got a very tough matchup. When I talk tough matchup, Central Carrollton might win a state championship in 4A. They're still undefeated. They are one of the top teams in 4A. Calvary, they have a chance to weather the storm against Strong Rock on the road, and I think Pacelli is going to pick up 2 more wins as they got Turner County this week and then also Westfield School. And Spencer plays Shaw. So I think that'll be a winnable game for the Green Wave.
All right, Richard, let's look at the top 5. Number 5 coming in. How about those Columbus Blue Devils? 6 and 1 on the season. Great job by Coach Peters. The Gators are in the playoffs. They're hosting a playoff game, 6 and 2, a big win over Dadeville. They keep trucking along, and they play rival Lee Scott for the right of a region championship. We got not 1 but 2 region championship games this Friday night, and that's 3 we'll have in a week's span. Number 3, Brookstone. They beat Pacelli. They're almost your region champs. They still have Westfield this week. That's a massive one. They're on the road. We're going to simulcast with our broadcast partners at Middle Georgia Sports Live. Can't wait to get in with them, man, and I'm excited about that. So cannot wait. Then we have Russell County coming in number 2, and they are undefeated. They play Pike Road for the right to be region champs. And then, of course, number 1, the Carver Tigers. The most dominant team we have in our area. Big win over Sumter County. And so we got 2, Russell County and Glenwood, playing for region championships this week.
So I compare our rankings with what the rankings they have on Max Preps. I do want to start with Columbus at number 5, because even though they have a 6-1 record, their strength of schedule, they have Spencer ranked 1 point ahead of Columbus. Columbus is ranked 34. Spencer is ranked 33rd. But we've seen Columbus play on the field, and we have been very impressed with them. And 6-1, I think that showdown with Spencer in 2 weeks is going to determine who is the team that's more than likely going to host a home playoff game. Because I do think Columbus still gets into the playoffs because, they take out all the private schools in the 2A rankings. As far as Glenwood, that showdown with Lee Scott Academy, it's going to be the test that see if they can win the region and possibly host more home playoff games. And then they also play Sylacauga, but it's a non-region game, so it's really a tune-up for when they get into the playoffs. I've been impressed with Brookstone beating your rival in Pacelli. That Pacelli gave their best shot against Brookstone. They really just laid it out on the line because they knew how important it was to try to get that jug back, because it really is a big deal. Brookstone's keeping that jug on their campus for 2 years now. But Brookstone has got everything in front of them to host multiple playoff games. They're currently ranked 2 according to Max Preps in the GIAA rankings. They have a chance to get to the state championship like they did a couple of years ago. Russell County was on a bye, but they have the massive showdown against Pike Road, they do have 2 losses, but Pike Road has a loss against Opelika, and then they played another 7A school, but they're undefeated in region play. So this is for the region championship. And until otherwise, we're always going to put Carver 1. And in fact, even if they were to lose to Sumter, I still think Carver would be the number 1 team. Remember, they lost 1 game last year and still went to the state championship. I think this Carver team is truly special. They were battle-tested, on the road, hostile environment, bad weather. Everything was going wrong in that game. Sebastian Hurd throws 2 picks, can't move the football in that Sumter County defense, and yet they're still able to get the win. So I'm impressed with the rankings. It's going to be interesting to see how, it's been the same 10 teams the last couple of weeks. Is there going to be somebody that's going to get on a run that might, keep our attention to where we might consider adding them into the rankings? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe so. And by the way, coming up in a few weeks, we'll be making an attempt to, and hopefully can, Sandy Creek Troup County. Not guaranteeing it, but if it can happen, it will. Sandy Creek just beat Fayetteville 106-0.
Good night.
Troup County's undefeated. Well, sign me up for both that game.
Let's go.
October 31st on Halloween.
I do want to mention Troup County does play LaGrange this Friday.
Hey, they do, and if we had enough people, I promise you, we try to make it there. All right, Chris, if you don't mind, we're going to show you the nominees. These are going to drop on our social media pages the next couple of days. Remember, you vote Tuesday. Winner will be announced Wednesday. Live from Houlihan's. We'll see Marika's, and we'll get some good food. Live show from there. But without further ado, let's see those highlights.
Kicking it off for Hardaway, and we are underway. And Andrew Smith takes it at the 5. He makes a cut. He's at the 10. He's got an open hole. Andrew Smith's at the 40, the 50, 40. He will not be caught. It is a touchdown for the Columbus Blue Devils, and we're not even 15 seconds into the game.
Hurd looking. There's a man. Caught. Touchdown. Marte Sears. And Carver takes the lead with 4:33 remaining
Looking far side, slings it over the middle, and it's caught by Zayden Hart at the 5. Hart on his feet, scores! Touchdown Gators!
Welcome back, everyone, here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Look at those 3 incredible plays, Richard. Great job, Andrew Smith, starting off the party with a bang in the Midtown Showdown. Then we had, you saw the Glenwood-Dayville game. Nice pass with Zayden Hart, and Stanley was efficient, and Gators were on a roll. And then you saw the game-winning touchdown pass from Sebastian Hurd to Marte Sears for the Carver Tigers. So you can go and vote for them on our Instagram page coming up on Tuesday. Cannot wait for that, Rich.
I know. 3 just incredible plays, and I got to say, even though my play was pretty good, and then the Glenwood Dadeville play was pretty good, I was blown away about that. There's just the impact of the play between Carver and Sumter County, because sometimes it's not just about the play. It's about the impact, and that gave Carver the lead.
In region championship.
Region championship. I was just completely blown away. I mean, what a great call by you as well.
Thank you, man, and really had a lot of fun with that. So glad that we're able to do that. You can go and vote right now. So we've had a lot of fun here tonight. Thank y'all so much for watching. Where we're going to be this week? Well, not as busy as weeks past, because guess what? Playoffs start this week, Richard. We have, for the GHSA, Shaw's hosting, Harris County's hosting, and
Columbus is hosting
as well. So all those teams are going to be hosting in the playoffs this week.
And Northside's going to be on the road. Hardaway is going to be on the road. But in volleyball, get this, Shaw's hosting, Kendrick's hosting, Columbus is hosting, Jordan's in the playoffs, and Hardaway's in the playoffs. They're both going to be on the road. Harris County lost in the tournament in Stars Mill, so Northside is actually going to be on the road. And those are the GHSA schools in volleyball and softball.
Okay, well, we can't wait to see those. So we're going to be wishing good luck to all the teams that are playing right now, volleyball and softball in the GHSA playoffs. For the GIAA, Calvary goes in the ranked number 1 in the final rankings. They're the heavy favorite to win it all in 4A, so we're cheering on Coach Halstead's team as well.
Yes.
We won't be able to we'll try to get some playoff games for the GHSA schools. We may potentially get Harris County. Also, Shaw is hosting as a number 1, so we may get them as well. We're going to try to. If we can't, it's okay. Tomorrow we'll be live from Columbus State. They do a men's basketball golf tournament that they host to raise money to get scholarships to bring in and keep that program. It's one of the top D2 programs in the country with Robert Moore. We've been there for the last 2 years. We're going to do it again this year from Bull Creek. We'll be there at 12 o'clock tomorrow. We got the Glenwood Coaches Show, Calvary Coaches Show. We got Brookstone Coaches Show, Tommy Watson Coaches Show. We got flag football, man, and we got multiple flag football games, Richard, that I'm looking at right here. Smith Station's hosting Elmore County at 5, and then Northside on Tuesday as well, man. So can't wait for that. We got Muskogee County Coach Show office hours coming up as well. And then on Thursday, Hardaway at Jordan, Dothan at Russell County, Northside Smith Station, Glenwood area tournament. So Northside Smith Station, Dothan, Russell County, those are flag football games. Hardaway Jordan football game in the Glenwood area tournament that's going to be happening.
3:30,
Richard,
by the way.
3:30.
Yeah.
You'll be there for that. And then on Friday, 4 football games. Central Carroll at Harris County. Turner County at Pacelli, homecoming for the Vikings. Pike Road, Russell County Region Championship. And then Glenwood at Lee Scott Region Championship. So busy week. Plus we got the GIAA softball tournament at
in South Commons.
South Commons, and the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show will be at Houlihan's as well. So thank y'all so much for watching here tonight. We'll see you next time on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.